Kites to the Sky by Abraham Freeman, August 5th, 2024. My fiancé is great at scouring the web, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for fun activities to attend in our area. A kite festival. Do you want to go? She said. Sure, I said. She knew I was always eager for a chance to get out of the apartment. The festival was to be held at a park that was surrounded by a golf course. We loaded up in the car with our water bottles and mineral sunscreen. There had been a mention of food trucks and shaved ice. These were the secondary attractions for us besides the kites. As I assumed the role of passenger princess, I thought about the different styles and types of kites that might be floating in the wind at that moment. I imagined a dark blue dragon kite snaking its way through the air, kites fabricated from all the colors of the rainbow, and everything in between. The festival should be in full effect by now. Instead of arriving right when it started, we opted to show up 2 hours after the start. Okay, maybe opted is not the correct word here. Getting out of the apartment on time seems to be a difficult task for me. I always drag my feet until it is time to leave. I would say I'm ready to go and then need to brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, fill the water bottles, and so forth. Kites seem to be synonymous with being a child. It's one of those toys that seems to be iconic to childhood, kind of like Jack in the Boxes. Though, interestingly enough, adults fly kites more often than children. Kites were used largely by adults in their early history, and I mean early history, like 200 BC. Adults found various uses for kites. They used them in war, pulling carriages, and connecting with the gods, just to name a few. Children were late to the game in playing with kites. It was in the early 1600s when kites started to gain popularity with them. You know when you plug a destination into your maps on your smartphone, but you can't trust it 100%? That's the headspace we were in as we entered roundabout after roundabout. We were keeping our eyes peeled for directional signs for the kite festival. Taking the first exit out of the umpteenth roundabout, we were greeted by two individuals dressed in neon yellow vests. It turned out we were in the correct place according to the map app. But per the neon vests, we needed to travel farther down the road to a lower parking lot. This is where we could then pay $10 to park. As we rolled into the lower parking lot, the tires crunched and spread the gravel as our 3,500-pound vehicle came up to a third neon vest wearer. I suddenly realized that I couldn't see any kites in the sky. Before handing over the money, I commented on this to the parking attendant. "Oh, we just saw some kites up in the air. They are starting to get them up," said the attendant. We looked to where the attendant referenced. We didn't see anything in the blue sky. "Maybe they start flying the kites around 12, my fiancé said. I looked at the clock. It was 12:16. "Maybe," I said. I can be a bit of a pessimist at times, and in the moment I tried to remain positive. We were further directed to a parking stall on a lush field of grass. With a bright blue sky overhead, we walked towards the event, and we realized just how many families and children were attending. As we got closer, we could hear an announcer's voice projecting from 4 massive speakers. "Now all of the 5-year-olds, get in line." Every sentence projected to the close hills and bounced back to the crowd, creating a fun echo. Chambers Bay has a natural beauty. It has rolling green hills that are crisscrossed by walking paths and sand bunkers. There is an iconic fir tree that stands at the edge of the park and train tracks. There are entire blogs and Reddit posts surrounding the love for this tree. In 2008, it was unfortunately attacked by individuals who inflicted an 8-inch gash to the trunk. The tree recovered and stands to be a testament to how special attention can save a life. As I surveyed the area around us, it gave me the feel of being in Scotland. I haven't ever been to Scotland, but it's what I would imagine Scotland would be like. Maybe that's just social media and golfing pop culture influencing me. It probably is. Amongst the rolling hills, the land bears the remnants of human impacts upon it in the last 100 years. There are towering, triangular concrete structures. These were part of the mining and gravel operations. A train pushes along the edge of the park, dividing it from the beach. Previously, there had been a train hub. Our stomachs were growling, so we made a beeline for the food trucks in the right-hand corner of the event. The vendors offered lobster sushi rolls, creamy macaroni and cheese, corn dogs, shaved ice, and other delectables. All of these looked amazing to my grumbling stomach. I ended up settling on a fried shrimp tempura crab sushi roll. It cost me, though. In the moment, my stomach outcompeted my mind, and I handed over $20. It would be 30 minutes later, when I had consumed the last morsels of the wrap, that my mind would circle back. The thought that I had just paid $20 for a roll that probably should have been $13 to $15. Oh well. I was already in it. My fiancé had chosen shaved ice, and this delectable treat grabbed my attention for dessert. This shaved ice was done well. I know. How can someone mess up by placing syrup on shaved ice? Well, believe me, they can. The ice was perfect. It had uniformity, was soft, and crunched under my teeth. Vendors of shaved ice can be skimpy and stingy with the syrup, though this was not the case here. With the perfect matrix from the ice, the flavored coconut and lychee syrups clung to the latticework, making every bite cold, soft, and flavorful. The paper bowl came with a lone wooden spoon. There was no need for a straw, or those goofy straws with built-in spoons. You know the ones I'm talking about. When all the syrup is tied up in the ice, there is nothing to slurp up from the bottom, thus no need for a straw. Forgetting to bring a blanket or beach chairs, we only had one option, to sit on the grass. We chose a spot that looked in at the sectioned off field where the announcer was stating that all 7-year-olds should line up. The children did. They grabbed their parachute like kites and then ran as fast as they could across the field with their kites in tow. The parents would run behind, trying to corral their children from clotheslining other children with the strings of their kites. Some were successful and some were not. Looking around, the only kites that I could see in the sky were the white diamond-shaped kites with red tails that flew only about 10 feet off the ground. They flew for 15 feet or so, eventually landing, and then were dragged mercilessly through the grass as the children continued running full throttle. Many of the children had these, thanks to the Pierce County Kite Flyers Association for providing a free kite to every child. A kite festival without kites in the sky? Why, you may ask? Well, the announcer provided this answer as well. The speakers echoed against the hills, stating that there was only a wind of 2 miles per hour. The large kites that people yearned to see required a minimum wind speed of 5 miles per hour. I had been so swept up in the people, the food, and the entertainment that I had forgotten the only thing a kite needed: wind. I looked at the fir tree. The branches didn't sway, and the needles didn't even rustle. A kite festival without wind. It's difficult to remember in our technology-filled world that technology of old relied heavily on natural occurring processes. Water wheels, water, cooking, fire, navigation, stars, kites, wind. To honor the kites, kite flyers, and kite makers, the announcer had some of them hold up their kites to the field of spectators. There were kites that were store-bought and kites that were made by hands of the people who were thrusting them into the air for all to see. One kite caught my attention, and the attention of the announcer as well. It was about a 5-foot black square. 42 white squares lined the border of the center, which burst forth with a combination of deep and light shades of crimson red. The kite was announced as a kite that had won in previous competitions. It was handmade and just beautiful to look at. If you know the name of this kite maker or kite, leave a comment. Kites to the sky. The kites made it, just not under the power of wind, but under the power of running children and the hands of their creators. The Kite Festival was just what I needed, a place to come together to enjoy the sun, the company of others, and good food.